Anyway, on to the next unit, the Infestor. The Infestor, well, grows like everything else, leaves kind of a slug trail behind it, and it's got 3 abilities this year. Groundcaster. You've got Infested Terran, which you just spit out now. They actually can use their guns instead of just running and blowing up, because as you know, or probably know, nobody ever really used Infested Terran because you had to capture in a command center. You could only use it in Zerg vs. Terran, ZVT, and you could only do it after you had mostly killed a command center and you had a queen. So, pretty uncommon circumstance and not really worth it. Neural Parasite, you can take control of an enemy unit for 10 seconds. Fungal Growth, kind of an area of effect attack. And it would, if I were able to attack, you know, enemy units, if I hadn't already cleared the map out, it would be, it holds the enemy units in position, and it does damage over time. It's pretty awesome. But Infestors are one of the Zerg units that can move underground. So, yeah, stealth, underground, you can go right under structures. It's ridiculous. Here comes the Roach. The Roach, for a while, I'm not really sure, I haven't checked into the beta forums in a few days, but for a while people were really calling hacks on the Roach. They were like, oh no, it's too strong, it's, you know, too low tier, you need to make it either higher tier, you need to make them cost more or something, because they're just too good, especially against Protoss. And it just isn't true. Protoss can get immortals, and it's not really a problem. But the Roach, it can also move while burrowed. It's very strong, very good. It is armored, though, which is why things like the Immortal can really take them out very easily. The Zergling, the definitive Zerg unit from Starcraft I. And now more terrifying than ever. They are practically rocket speed. And look at the amazing, like, unit grouping there. I mean, anyone who's played the original Starcraft, the ability for your units to actually do what you tell them to when you tell them to do it is amazing. Alright, so I'm morphing some of my Zerglings into Banelings. Banelings you have to get a Baneling structure for, but could very well be worth it, because Banelings are essentially Scourge from Starcraft I on the ground. They have an area of effect, small area, and they just blow themselves up. And it's pretty brutal damage. I mean, it's just gonna kind of clear up my population a bit by blowing up some more Banelings, but I can't kill my own units, so you can't really see how truly devastating Banelings can be, but, you know, they're little acid death traps. And they roll around after you get their centrifugal hooks upgrade to increase their speed. So that's pretty fun. Now the Hydralisk, of course, I've brought out. The Hydralisk is, well, if the Zergling is the definitive unit, the Hydralisk is his sidekick, I would say. Because the Hydralisk, well, you know, they're probably equal. They're just about as well known as each other. Hydralisk is now much higher tier than it used to be, but it is much stronger to compensate for that. So you're going to want to get Hydralisks. Here comes the Corruptors. Corruptors have, well, corruption. They can stop an enemy's structure from doing anything for 30 entire seconds, whether that's an upgrade structure or a gateway to produce units or anything. And they can also turn into Broodlords, which, if you haven't seen the Broodlord, oh man. It's kind of like the Guardian, the Mutalisk evolution from Brood War, only it shoots temporary units instead of just a projectile attack. It's beast. Very, very, very good. The Mutalisk here, another favorite. Not much to say about them. They have projectiles that bounce 2 times after hitting their target. Very, very, very good. You can't stack them anymore, so for all of you who spent forever learning how to Mutalisk stack. Now look at that! Just look at that damage! It's an instant kill. Even if you have only a couple of broodlords, you can just annihilate everything on the ground. They can't attack air, so if you have, you know, some Vikings as Terran, then you can kill infinite broodlords with no worry. But, I mean, look at that. It's unbelievable. The broodlings that they drop are very temporary in health. In life, I should say. But, goodness gracious, that is a destructive force. Here comes my Mutalist. Now, their attacks aren't bouncing because I am attacking my own units. My Overlords. Overlords, of course, expand your food count. But in Starcraft II, they are not detectors. Detectors... Well, I'll get to that in just a second. First of all, Overlords can generate their own creep. Creep, of course, is very important. You can move forward your Overlords and just generate a whole lot of creep, and then you can move forward your defensive structures, your spine crawlers and your spore crawlers. Your Overlords are the only support you really would need for that kind of, you know, defensive structure rush. Now, of course, here's your Overseers. Overseers are a new thing, and they allow the Overlord to be a detector. It is an extra upgrade. It does have an additional cost, an additional time. But it's a detector, and it can create a changeling. A changeling is... well, it will turn into, whenever it hits the ground, either a Zergling, a Zealot, or a Marine, depending on your opponent. And what it is basically it's a scout. You send it in, it looks almost, it's slightly discolored, but it looks almost exactly like your opponent's units. Now, I don't have an opponent, so it's just going to stay in its weird kind of gelatinous form there. It's very, very interesting unit. Something I really wasn't expecting out of StarCraft II at all. Haven't gotten a chance to really use these much, but it is a really cool concept, and I am glad that they're trying to do new things with such staples as the Overlord, even. Now, just so you can see the destructive capabilities of the Ultralisk, I mean, what? They do, like, 60 damage or something just unbelievable like that. Alright, so that's the Zerg. Now, thanks for joining me. This has been OriginOfBob, aka Luke the Tatum. I'm reporting for AstringentGaming.com, and of course you should check out that website and my other videos if you'd like more StarCraft II coverage or coverage for other up-and-coming games. We even do some classics now and again, so be sure to check us out. Let me know what you think, comment, favorite, subscribe, whatever you'd like to do. I'll see you next time with the Protoss. The Protoss are my favorites. I'm very, very, very excited. So until then, bye.